Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. That's right, we are in the backyard because the lake's high. And I tell you what, pretty excited today because we got three young anglers here from the University of Arkansas Bass Fishing Club. They are the fishing team of the Razorbacks. So excited to have them here. We'll start. There's Mason, Jacob, and Carter. And so tell us about being on the team. So we'll start with you, Mason. You're on the outside. So tell us a little bit about what happens here. How did you end up on the team?
So it was one of those things where I knew when I went to college I was going to fish on a team somewhere, no matter where I went. And I guess I came to Arkansas, and the first thing I did, it was during COVID and stuff, is I got in the team through the club sports deal and started fishing immediately. So, I mean, that's one thing I've done my entire life was fish tournaments and stuff, and getting here was just another step along the way.
Right. And you, Jacob?
Yes, sir. So I'm actually from Houston, Texas. When I came up here, I didn't know for sure if I was going to be on the team or not. I fished in high school, but just didn't know if I was for sure going to do it, and met a guy who wanted to join the team, and we ended up fishing together freshman year. Fished 5 or 6 tournaments freshman year. COVID hit sophomore year, and then junior year right now we're right back at it.
There you go. And you're last, Carter.
And I'm also from Houston, but my school didn't have a fishing team, so I joined it as soon as I came up here.
Right.
Thankfully, they had a spot, so I came on. Rest is history.
How does that go? So you guys come. There's probably, do you have like memberships and things like that? How does that work? If someone wanted to, say, next year join the Arkansas Razorback, like saying that over and over again, fishing club, how would they do that?
So basically the way it works is it's real simple. If you want to be in the club, you're allowed to be in the club. We're completely open to anyone if you're down for it. We have a $100, $150 membership fee to be on the team. That includes your team jersey, and it basically allows you to be on our roster and travel around the country with us fishing for the Arkansas Razorback fishing team. And once we do that, we have help from great sponsors and a little bit of help from our university that gives us some financial help to go out and fish these tournaments.
Right.
And so once you're on the team, you're on.
Okay, so it starts, let's say you come and you don't have a boat, or that's way back at the house. You're in Houston, Texas, and your boat's way back there, and there really isn't a lot of parking up here at the university, I don't think. So how does that work? Boater, non-boater?
So the whole boater, non-boater thing, it's a toss-up half the time because it's either you come with a partner who has a boat,
right,
or you come here and you hope someone has a boat, because obviously we can't, not everyone is able to either bring their boat, or we don't have sponsored boats or anything like that yet. Hopefully start working on that. I think we got there's a lot of boat companies up here in Arkansas that would love to, but it's one of those things where it's either you come up here with one, like my partner came up here with his.
Right.
I fished with him through high school.
So do you stay with your partner the whole entire year? How does that work?
I mean, you don't have to technically, but we do ask, like, if you fish a tournament in a particular circuit, so say you fish a tournament with someone in the Bassmaster Collegiate Series, we ask that you fish with that partner all the way through that series so that you can rank up your Angler of the Year points. And then the more points you have, it makes you qualify for the national championship through that.
I got you.
So most of the qualifying, if you're fishing in a big circuit that qualifies you for a national championship, most people will stay with the same partner all year. But other small tournaments like our local Arkansas Collegiate Series, or just other small state tournaments that we do, people can go fish with other partners that they don't usually get to fish with, which makes it pretty cool.
What are the tournament circuits that you guys are fishing in, Carter?
Well, me and my fisher partner, John, we're both from Texas, so we've been fishing the CBTT, the Collegiate Bass Trail of Texas. That was our primary trail. We still have we have a tournament on Lake Palestine next week, and then the championship is this summer on Sam Rayburn. But the other big ones that we fished the Bassmaster on Norfolk a few weeks ago.
Right.
And it was our first time on a mountain lake. You know, it was a fun experience, great time.
Right.
Yeah.
We got a mountain lake, Ozark Highland Reservoirs. Mm-hmm. We got one right behind us. It's a little high right now.
Just a tad.
But so you guys are fishing across usually the southeast
area.
Is that pretty much it?
Yes, sir. We fish like you said, the Bassmaster Collegiate Series, but we also fish in the Collegiate Bass Championship Trail, which is ran through the ACA. It's Carico TV, but it's Collegiate Bass Championship is the name of the circuit. And we also fish in the MLF college division. And so they have tournaments all across the Southeast. We usually range from Florida up to like North Carolina, kind of draw a line north right there, or horizontal. And then they fish a little bit of Texas and Alabama. And occasionally, once in the summer, we'll go up north and fish a tournament up there.
Up north, like Lake Erie?
Not so much
Lake
Erie.
Champlain?
I think they're a little concerned about college kids running around on Lake Erie, considering we're kind of reckless. But usually it's like lacrosse or...
lacrosse. Lacrosse is as dangerous as Erie.
It's
Dude,
very scary.
I've been there quite a few times. It can be.
It is.
But, yeah, that's interesting. So you go out there and you fish the tournaments. Do you have any club tournaments where you go out? Just the guys in the club and go, hey, we're going to all meet at Hickory Creek or someplace and fish, or
So
do you do that?
we will. That will be something coming up because COVID and obviously that hindered a lot of our stuff that we want to do. So coming up into these next couple of years, that will be stuff that will be happening. A whole part is we're trying to be more of a club than, hey, two guys are going somewhere and we don't really know who's going. That's the biggest focus now, is trying to get everyone localized and make sure that we all know what's going on because of all the crap that's been going on.
There's a lot of the COVID stuff, and you're getting over that now. So now you can participate in all the events that are going on. So when you were growing up, we'll start with you, Mason. When you were growing up, what was the whole deal about fishing? Was it your parents taking you out? How'd you end up going fishing?
I have been fishing since I was born. So my dad is military, so he's from Washington State. I grew up in Georgia, and I started fishing there. He's had a bass boat since we've been in Georgia. So we got to Arkansas in 2008, and I think I started fishing real tournaments probably when I was 10. So I started fishing tournaments with him, and then going into high school and stuff, and I've fished just forever, as long as I can remember. So it's fun.
Have you qualified for any big tournaments, or have you won any big tournaments? Have you made money in any tournaments?
I've won a couple state championships in high school. I think my first college tournament, I got 7th on Dardanelle. My partner and I did. We've been up to lacrosse for the high school national championship for the MLF one. So yeah, I mean, going to sophomore year, I've only fished a handful because last year was tough, and then this year I fished a lot of collegiate, the Arkansas series, and then last summer, me and my partner did go to Lake Murray for the national championship for collegiate bass.
Oh, there you go.
So,
well, that's good. So you're recommending that kids start in high school, do the high school fishing thing before they go into the.
It helps. It definitely helps. It's like doing a sport before you go into high school and do a sport. It's about the same thing. You do a sport in high school and you go into college and do it, like fishing. So it just gets you a bit more experience under the belt. But sometimes you have guys like him; they're pretty good already. So
How about you, Jacob? How did it all start?
So honestly, I mean, I was born as a fisherman. My dad, put a rod in my hand when I was young, but he wasn't a big time bass fisherman. He wasn't hardcore about it. He didn't have a boat. We just would pond fish. We have a lake house out on Greer's Ferry, and we would go out on the lake there and catch crappie, a lot of white bass. But when I was in middle school, I started watching YouTube videos of these guys going out and catching all these fish. Started watching a little bit of like the tour events, and I was hooked. I'd come home from school, get on my laptop, watch fishing YouTube all day long, and I'd go fish. And when I got to high school, my high school had a fishing team, and so I decided to join it. We were able to find a boat captain for me and my good friend who we fished together basically our whole lives. And we fished all the way through high school, did pretty well, and I got to college, and I figured I might as well continue it on.
Right. There you go. Have you done well down there at Greer's Ferry? Have you taken a check or two from some people?
I have not, sadly, not on Greer's Ferry. When I was in high school, we qualified for the state championship all 3 years that I fished it. So my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And my sophomore year, we actually finished 6th in Angler of the Year, which was out of about 450 boats. So that was a pretty cool accomplishment for us.
That's pretty cool. And how about you, Carter? How'd the life of fishing start for you?
Well, both my parents are from near Galveston. So I grew up fishing the bay pretty often, and eventually it just transitioned into bass fishing in high school. Like Jacob, it was just like an obsession.
Right.
Like I was just watching YouTube videos left and right. I had to have this lure. I had to have this lure. I had to go do this, and it transitioned into college. And thankfully, the knowledge that I had acquired from just lake fishing and bay fishing has transitioned.
Have you had some success?
We've been seeing more and more as we fish more. COVID, as we've said before, it put a real big damper on the fishing because we weren't allowed to travel out of state for the university reasons. And so we really just had to buckle down and figure stuff out. And now that COVID's kind of lax, it's really opened up, and we've been doing better and better and better. And we hope that next season it shows off.
Well, I mean, some of the anglers that are fishing in Major League Fishing and in Bassmasters, they started high school and then went to college. And surprising, some of them probably wouldn't have even gone to college if it wouldn't have been for fishing. Is that any of you guys? Would you have skipped? Would you have had a life of fishing, gave it up instead of going to college?
No, I mean, I probably still would have come to college. I mean, there's many universities out there that allow you to fish on scholarship for them.
Right.
For me, I was offered by one in East Texas. I went and toured the campus, and it wasn't for me. I wanted to go to a big D1 school and kind of get the school aspect of it. So if I had the choice, I probably still would have gone to school. But I mean, because the way I look at it is, I'm only going to be in college for 4 years, but I'll be able to fish my whole life. And so I figured I'd take these 4 years and get my education, and then once I graduate, it's game on for fishing.
There you go. And what are you majoring in, Mason?
I'm majoring in biological and agricultural engineering. So.
There you go. Well, right now you can farm Beaver Lake. The water's so dirty. So if the tractor goes by, it's just the lake. It's just someone doing that. But and what are you getting your degree in, Jacob?
I'm doing it in business marketing.
Business marketing, yeah.
And I'm also business marketing.
Oh, wow. So business marketing, that'll play a good part in later on when it starts coming to getting sponsors for the fishing career. So who's the sponsors? I see your jerseys. Who's some of the sponsors, or tell all of your sponsors for the Bass Fishing Club?
So I'll start with our title sponsor right now is Forsgren Incorporated. They're a construction company down in Fort Smith.
Right.
And then the next one is Castle Hills Mortgage. They're a mortgage company in Dallas. We got PICO Lures on board. They offer us great deals. So that's War Eagle, Booyah, Yum, Norman, Bandit Lures, a handful of lure companies that they, Smithwick.
Keep going. Yeah.
13 Fishing, they're our rod and reel sponsor. They've been awesome to us this year.
Right.
We got Navigation Financial, they're a financial company out of Dallas. They help us out a little bit financially. And make sure
there you go. Make sure you get them all.
IMS Relocation. They're also in Dallas. A lot of our sponsors, just the way that we outreached, just came from Dallas, just because of connections we had from people on our club.
Right.
And so they're also from Dallas. And then Spearpoint Hooks and Woo Tungsten are two of our bait sponsors that also help us out quite a bit.
There you go. So if other people wanted to sponsor you, how would they get in touch with one of you guys?
So our team email is bassteam@uark.edu. So bassteam@uark.edu. Just send an email out to us. All the officers, we all have access to that team email. So we check it daily. Just email us and we'll get back to you and we can work something out.
When you have a bass club meeting, do you go according to the Roberts Rules of Order?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
we just checking. I had to study that. I was the president of the Missouri Outdoor Communicators and some other things, and you have to read these Robert Rules of Order, and that's how actually, a meeting's supposed to go. And I'm like, oh man, this is a lot of work just to hear people at a club meeting or something.
Yeah, we try and keep it pretty. We keep it pretty informal, I would say. I mean, we get done what we need to talk about, and we use a PowerPoint, to have topics, but it's nothing like strictly formal. Because we like to be able to talk. If we bring something up about a lake or a next tournament we have, we might talk about that lake and how it's fishing for 20 minutes, and then we're way off schedule. But it's okay because that's just how it goes.
You guys stretch the truth any, or is it just you guys, pretty much tell the truth all the time?
It just depends on where I'm at. If it's Dardanelle, it's definitely the truth's getting stretched.
There's a little dock talk going on.
Yeah, lots of dock talk. It can get you.
Biggest fish you've ever caught, Mason? Largemouth.
From
where at?
let's see. So Air Force Base, Little Rock Air Force Base Pond, caught about an 8.5 pounder.
Wow.
So on a bed.
Out of a bed. Wow.
Mine's 8.2. I caught it on Lake Somerville within the first 3 minutes of a high school tournament. It was still.
It was in the tournament?
Yes, sir. I won big bass. It was.
How
awesome.
big was it?
8.2 pounds.
Wow, that's huge. Carter?
I caught an 11.3 on Lake Fayette in Fayette, Texas.
Wow. You Texas boys. I knew someone would pull out a big old fish.
Not in Arkansas.
Yep, we are spoiled. We're very spoiled down there.
There you go. That takes us over to Tackle Time. Tackle Time sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a whole line of soft plastic, hard plastics, hard baits. You name it, they got it. If you're trying to catch a game fish, just check them out at picolures.com. You guys, if they wanted to find out more about your club or join your club, or maybe they're a high school senior and they're thinking about going to the University of Arkansas and they didn't even know they had a fishing club, but now they do, where would they go?
We got, so obviously one of the easiest ways to contact us is the email, bassteam.uark.edu.
Okay.
Our Instagram is
U Arkansas Fishing. So U Arkansas Fishing.
Yep, at Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then Facebook is the same username. I think it's U of Arkansas Fishing on Facebook. But find us on our socials, DM us. We also, at the beginning of the year, if you get up to Arkansas next year, if you're a freshman coming in, there's this thing called Hill Fest. It's where all the clubs and organizations all meet up at the student union, and we'll have a table set up. Come see us. We'll have our jerseys out there for you to look at, and we'll get your name written down. And next year, the second week of school, we will have our first team meeting.
Okay.
And that is where anyone who wants to join the club can come, and we'll advertise it. It'll be out on all of our socials. So anyone who wants to join the club, come to that, and we'll get you signed up and do all the paperwork, and off we go.
Sounds pretty easy anyway. So before you guys leave, you got to call the Hogs, though, because it wouldn't be right if you didn't call the Hogs. So here you go. There's your chance.
Alrighty. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Ooh, Big Suey. Ooh, Big Suey. Ooh, Big Suey. Razorbacks.
And there you have it. That's how we're going to wrap the show up. Usually I say make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water, but not this time because we called the Hogs.